I'm Gavin McGarry. I am going to be doing what is supposed to be a wrap-up, but who knows, really. The best thing about this MIPCOM was the Twitter traffic was phenomenal. It was like double it was from MIPTV. I don't know if you've realized, but this year they did, I think they did it for MIPTV, I'm not really sure, but MIPCOM did a blog. It is fantastic. They go through every session. It's written like a newspaper. There's lots of video. They video the sessions. It basically does my job. So overall, these are my top 8 things that I sort of pulled out of all of the sessions that I attended. Apps, and they're sort of in order. Apps, this year was it. I went to 2 things that were about apps. They were packed. The iPad, just testing what are apps. Everyone had iPads. This whole room was full. It was, everyone is really buzzing around these apps and the tablets. Definitely going to change the way things go. Web video, it's big. It's our business. If you are in TV or film, you have to understand web video, and every day you don't, you're just one day behind. Piracy, we built part of our company on it because we think that obviously what pirates are doing is what's going to become mainstream. Social media, if you don't have a social media strategy, I think that most of us would agree that you need one. Branded entertainment is a big part of what's happening. Transmedia, yes, I know. I have no idea either. I walked around here, we had debates, there were people screaming at each other. I did a transmedia session up here on Monday, and people were twittering that actually one of the people on the stage wasn't actually transmedia. It was horrible. It is now possible for us to, who may have spent a lot of time in the TV broadcast area, to move into the gaming area. And I think it's really important that you do. We work with 2 companies out of India that make a game a day. Now, they're not huge, fantastic games. You can buy them for between $900 and $1,500, but if you put them on a site, your stickiness or the traffic to your site that is remaining on your site doubles, essentially, depending on the type of app. And they're all reskinnable, and it costs nothing. It's not about building huge, giant games anymore. It's about building things that interact with your environment. Let's talk about apps. Proportion of free versus paid. This is interesting too, because when you start to see the iPad, most people are paying for their content on the iPad. And everyone's spent a lot of time, especially in TV for the last 2 or 3 years, saying people are never going to pay for, everybody wants it ad supported. It is not all about ad supported. I'm sorry. People are spending 80% of the apps that are being downloaded on the iPad, which is the hottest thing right now, there's 10 million of them, are being paid for. They're not free. So it was pricing issues, and advertising may not necessarily be the solution, but I think that what I learned this week is that most people are looking at hybrids or mixes. So let's talk about web video. The big problem is the view counts. It is a bit of my pet peeve. I worked at Juiced. I know how the view counts work. Sometimes it's first pixel. We found at Juiced that people would come in and look at maybe 10 or 15 videos. They would look at them all 10 seconds, 7 to 10 seconds. And what they were looking for is they were looking for something to watch. And then they would watch long-form content. But what's come out is that everyone thinks that everyone on the web, online web video, wants it to be short-form content. But my feeling is, and I have to talk to the research guys again, is that what they're counting is that when people are surfing around, much like you're surfing a channel, they're counting all those surfs, so of course it's going to bring down the average. There's also something in the TV business, they sort of don't want the web to be good at long-form content, right? Because that's what TV's for. But I think that you really need to think about this, because think of your own surfing habits, how you look at things, and where you go. So when you're building, when people are telling you that people will only watch short-form content, I think we really need to drill into the numbers. And I'm hoping by MIPTV we'll have some better numbers as to what it really means inside these views. TV shows are gaining popularity on BitTorrent year after year. In 2009, a new milestone was reached for 2 shows in the top 10. Heroes and Dexter. The number of downloads on BitTorrent has exceeded the average viewership on US television. So this was people around the world who couldn't get access to it. Despite the massive piracy of TV shows, there are plenty of opportunities for distributors and broadcasters to win viewers back. The piracy figures simply show that TV viewing habits are changing. There's huge interest in on-demand TV, and there are millions of viewers that can potentially bring in millions of dollars of revenue. So instead of going and suing all these guys, we should be working with them, because what we've found is that even though something's on BitTorrent, it still does well on television. Let's move into social media. Facebook was here this week, and it was really interesting. The thing I pulled out from Joanna's speech basically was that they were going after Google's lunch by saying we're all about sharing and not about search. So Facebook is sharing, caring, great. The bad side of what happened at Facebook is the privacy issues. Facebook Places came out, but there's a huge flaw. Facebook Places, you can tag any one of your friends with you, whether they're with you or not. Do not use Facebook Places until they fix that. 2 or 3 of my friends, hasn't happened to me yet, but have been at bars of questionable repute when they weren't really there, and their wives and girlfriends saw it on their Twitter and their Facebook page. So I think that just be careful with Facebook Places. It's another Facebook issue. I'm sure they'll fix it, but Foursquare is much better. You can determine, you can go off the grid, so you can do something where you can hide where you're at, and it just says you're off the grid, but it still records that you went there. So here's 4 people that I think on Twitter search you're going to like. Carrie Lewis Brown from Manchester, Simon Staffens, he's basically, I just popped back when I was watching the video. Chucky Pasha, that's Pasha from Endemol, he's really good to follow. And MIP from Paris and Canada, they did a really good job on their Twitter feed. Lots of stuff going back and forth, lots of retweet. So what you do is you come to Twitter and you just type in search MIPCOM. I can search any hashtag. We use it all the time. But here you can see Simon is Simon, wow. What I can do is I could find something that he really likes, and I can retweet it. Do I want to retweet this? Yes. So I'm retweeting it, and now it will go onto my feed. So all my followers, I have like 1,200 people following me, they'll see this, and if I think it's important, then we can create a little sort of viral thing about what's happening at MIPCOM. Thank you very much.